Hey everybody, Chief here. Thanks for checking out my latest video. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button and turn on bells for notifications. So, today we're talking tanks. Many of you know I am a huge fan of playing tanks in War Robots. So, I'm going to go over what I feel are the 3 top tanks in the game right now. And that's going to be the Falcon, Invader, and Fenrir. Now I've got 5 of them here to show you some of my favorite builds with each of these tanks, as well as some of the key pilot abilities that you might want to consider if you decide to run one of these robots. So starting off here, I'm just going to start off with the Fenrir. Now this is my personal favorite tank, but this is also my personal favorite build on the Fenrir, the Glory in the Storm. This thing packs such a punch and does a great job taking out other tanks. Okay, you see here, pretty much for all the tanks, I prioritize using last stand and armor kits, or heavy armor kits if you have them. So, when I'm talking about tanks, I'm talking about robots that have lots of health and get in, help push beacons or defend beacons, or even just draw a lot of fire from enemies so that your team can take care of other things within the game. So, starting here with the Fender Pilot. Now, this here is a level 61, or pretty much a maxed out pilot. These are some key things that I want to go over with you guys. Now, there is a legendary pilot for the Fenrir. My personal opinion, it's not really worth the gold, so if you have another pilot, feel free to use that one. Here I've got Adrian, little extra damage never hurts. But the key things looking at here is Armor Expert. It's huge for all of the tanks. You want to get as much health as you possibly can. Another key one is Mechanic. You want to be able to have a constant heal going for when you are out there and taking damage, and Mechanic really fills that role very well. Another one here for the Fenrir specifically is Adamant Guardian, and that one, it gives an increase to your defense, the same as Invulnerable Raider. They both give a 25% or 25 point defense increase. They're really good, so a defense increase, basically that is your damage resistance. And both of those are also dependent on what's going on in the game. So if the enemy team has 3 or more beacons, then you will get a 25 point boost to your defense, and if you capture a beacon, you will get another 25% boost for 30 seconds. So those are some of the really good abilities that you want to kind of gear yourself towards, in my opinion. I also have on here Energy Shield Expert. I just threw it on there just to give him a little bit more tankiness, but overall it's really not a big deal, because most of the time, at least when I'm playing a Fenrir, I'm not really using his shield. So I've got here a second Fenrir, and this one here is a little bit closer to where probably most players are with their pilots. So 4 of the most important ones, in my opinion, are going to be Mechanic, or excuse me, 3 of the most important is Mechanic, Armor Expert, and Tough Guy. Tough Guy is a great one. You can afford to take a small drop in your weapon damage for added health. Health is king as far as tanks are concerned. And then I have on here, you'll see Roadhog. The Fenrir is a very slow moving robot, so I just threw it on there just to have. Now moving on to the Invader. This one is also a great robot. Okay, you'll notice that I'm covering 3 tanks. Now each one of these tanks fills a different role within the game, and it's really going to be dependent on your playstyle which one you select. Okay, so the Fenrir, while it packs a huge amount of damage, it's a little bit slower. Okay, whereas the Invader, he trades off some of that damage potential for being more mobile and being able to suppress enemies. Here I've got his legendary pilot. It's It's an okay pilot as far as legendary pilots go, but you can definitely get by without using the legendary version. But once again, some of the same key skills are here. You've got increased defense with Invulnerable Raider. I have on here Wonder Worker. Wonder Worker is nice. It gives you a sizable heal every time you use your ability, and that works really well with this next one, which is specific towards the Invader, and that is Death Survivor. Basically, once your health drops below 50%, you'll automatically be able to reuse your ability. So those two kind of work well together, but if you don't have Wonder Worker, you can just go ahead and use Mechanic. It's also a great skill to use. And then I've got Tough Guy once again, trade a little bit of damage for some more health, and Armor Expert. Once again, health is key. And here is another Invader. This one just has a couple of the more important skills in my opinion. You've got Invulnerable Raider, gives you a little bit more defense after capturing a beacon for 30 seconds, and given the mobility of the Invader, you're pretty good at capturing beacons. Mechanic I have here on this one rather than the Wonder Worker skill. It's just a constant heal. It's something that's kind of nice, and at the end of a match it really helps to add to your overall damage, so you can get a little bit more silver. And then I've got Armor Expert. Always you want some more health, and I have Roadhog just thrown in there just to help with getting to the beacons, but it's up to you if you want to go for more defense or some more health. Now finally, we've got the Falcon. The Falcon is quite different than the other two tanks that I covered. The Falcon, depending on whether or not you have the right skills, in this case I'm talking about the Traditionalist skill. The Traditionalist skill is amazing on the Falcon. It really helps to increase your overall health pool. Gives you an additional 50% durability, which is huge, especially because the Falcon has such a large damage resistance. Okay, so it essentially it just gives you a whole lot of health. That's why they're so tough to take down when they are Traditionalists. Now on top of that, I also have Mechanic on here. Having that constant heal going is very helpful with the Falcon. Increased defense with Invulnerable Raider and Adamant Guardian. So even though he has a ton of damage resistance already, you can increase that by capturing beacons, or if the enemy team has 3 or more beacons. Then I've got Dodger on here. Now Dodger isn't quite as important, but the reason why I like it on the Falcon is because with a heal module, and for active modules I highly recommend always using a heal with a tank anyway, because you rely on your health, you want to stay alive, and that is usually the best option. But the Dodger ability allows you to use your active module 25% sooner than somebody that doesn't have that. So it means that you get more chances to heal when you're taking all that damage. And then of course I've got Armor Expert on top of that. The more health the better. And then finally Roadhog. Because the Falcon, he's not an overly slow robot, but because he goes down to using only one weapon when he uses the Traditionalist skill, it's kind of important for him to be able to navigate a little bit faster. But you see here these 3 different robot types. Okay, the Falcon is probably the most pure tank. Okay, he just straight up takes damage. He isn't very good at dishing out damage, but he can push beacons, he can defend beacons. He's very difficult to kill, but he definitely trades off all of his damage potential in order to do that. Whereas, like I said, the Invader is a little bit more mobile. He has a little bit more damage potential than the Falcon. And then you've got the Fenrir, who once again is more of the I don't know, in my opinion, he's the best tank because he's got those tanky features, but he can also dish out a ton of damage, and his trade-off is he's not quite as mobile. But that's it. That's the main differences for these tanks. Now to go over these builds, I kind of showed you here my favorite with the Storm and Glory on the Fenrir. Now this one here is quickly... it's almost my favorite. It's really good. This thing just melts through, and that is with the Igniter and the Ember. And the reason why I like this and the shotgun builds is because they both do area damage. So it's kind of important with the tank because you are often facing multiple enemies at the same time. And because of that, you want to be able to do damage to multiple enemies at the same time. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other really good builds for the Fenrir, but the reason why I like these is just like I said, usually you're facing more than one enemy at a time. And then the Invader here, this is a full lockdown build. I think it's great. Lockdown with the Invader is a really good thing to have because you can lock down the enemy, you can jump in, suppress them, and take care of business. Now, you don't have to have full lockdown. You can use any combination of shotguns, but once again, I'm using shotguns here because the Invader is generally going to be going up against more than one enemy at a time, so I want to be able to do as much damage as I can. But you can use Gust and Storm with a Halo. You can use any combination, but with this, I do recommend at least one lockdown if you're using the shotguns. And then here, this one is also a really good build if you have it, the Blaze and the Igniter. Just like with the Fenrir using the Ember and Igniter, it does area damage, which is great, so you can damage multiple enemies at a given time, and it has that 350 range, which is pretty good, so you can start doing your damage as you're moving into position to either jump or take a beacon, whatever the case may be. And finally, here with the Falcon, you can ignore the avalanche. They're not actually in use, but Glory, that's the one that right now is my favorite main weapon for the Falcon. It's got a lot of damage potential for only one weapon, and its nearly constant firing rate is really helpful, especially because you know you're going to be in the Falcon for quite some time trying to take down enemies. Some people have a lot of luck with things like an Ember, and you can definitely use an Ember and it can be effective. I just personally prefer the Glory. And I'm going to show you some gameplay using these three different robots, so stay tuned for that. Alright, dropping in here on carrier map. I'm just going to start off here with the Falcon. The main reason for that is sometimes the center beacon here can be really difficult to get, so I am going to do my best to get there and just take them out. There we go. I was able to get him locked down before he got, or I guess he was on the beacon, but he's definitely not going to be able to hold it. Gonna counter heal, and you see here, I've got the whole team focusing on me right now, and they are having a hard time taking me out. So last stand just hit, and I should be able to counter heal once more. There we go, and I got the beacon. So that was very tough, but that is why I selected the Falcon, because he is the most pure tank. Looks like my team could use a little bit of help over here. Go ahead and drop in and just come over and help them out. And looks like we're finally getting into center, which is good. Now I should be able to push onto this beacon. Looks like my teammate is already over here. So there we go. Go ahead and try and get in front of some of that damage so my teammate isn't getting hurt. And once again, I am going to go ahead and just push over here to try and keep them in their home spawn area. Get some free damage here on the Ares. A little bit of healing before my last stand kicks in. And get a little more damage over here. Should be able to take him out. There we go. This guy is really trying to stop me from getting the beacon. But I've got one more heal I can get. And hopefully I can get this bulwark taken out. And then I will focus on that mender. And I'm going to go ahead and go down right here. Alright guys, so starting off with this match, I'm going to drop in with an Invader. And I am going to, looks like I'm going to be going up to the top if, okay, that player looks like he is moving up. So I am going to go ahead and come and try and support the bridge beacon here. Looks like I've got some beacon runners and a couple of damage robots on my team here. So if I can get past him, I should be able to give a little more support. And here we go. So I drop in, I've got them suppressed, and now I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. Drop a heal here to counter some of that damage. I'm getting suppressed now. And I should have my ability back as soon as I'm no longer locked down. I hit that Death Survivor, which is very good. And see here, I should be able to take him out and then finish off this. Go ahead and counter heal once again. And I'm getting the beacon, so very effective here so far, getting the beacon. And I'm gonna end up going down, but that's okay because I definitely filled the role I needed to, being able to push that beacon. And I'm going to just let this Ares take me out here. I am going to start off with an Invader. Looks like I am on the right side. That is not really the side I want to be on. And looks like nobody from my team wants to be on it. So it's going to be up to me to try and navigate my way through this maze of buildings and get that right beacon. Looks like they have a Loki, and that's alright. He's going to move off of that beacon. There's not a lot that a Loki can do against this robot, so unless he starts having some of his teammates drop in, they are going to lose this one. And I don't need quantum radar to do damage to him. He this robot is the Invader is low enough to the ground that with shotguns you can take out a Loki without a problem. So looks like we had a white dragon spawn in, and that's okay. He's not going to be able to do much to me right now. And he landed over here, so hopefully I get him locked down. There we go, and he should just he should go as well. So now to help my team out, I'm just going to try and get a little bit of pressure over here on their home beacon. And you can see here that this robot is definitely much more mobile when you compare it to some of the other tanks.
Triple kill.
Counter heal here, and suppress them once again. And looks like I've got their home beacon, which was really not even what I was expecting, but I will take it and take out some of these players. Looks like there's another Ares that spawned in over here. Let me go ahead and just get some damage on him. It's not even an Ares, it's a Hades. So should be able to take him out. And that is an Ares, so I am going to go ahead and let him take me out, but I'm going to get a little damage on this bulwark. Okay, so I've got a Falcon there. He's definitely going to be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in with my Fenrir. This Fenrir does an amazing job when he's going against the other tanks, especially the Falcon. And you can see here, I just take chunks of health off of this Falcon, and I'm pretty sure that he is running a traditionalist build. He's counter healing, but it's not going to help. And I've got another Falcon. I'm going to go ahead and counter heal some of that damage. Got an Ares over here now, and I've been death marked, so I'm going to try and counter that death mark some with my shield, and hopefully I can take out this other Falcon. It's all right, it's really close. And drop in with the Fenrir, and I am going to push their platform beacon. Now the Fenrir is pretty slow, but on this one I do have Roadhogs, so it isn't too unbearable. And I also have I'm also using the shield right now, which means that I have increased movement speed. And I should be able to fight for this beacon. That's gonna go down real quick. And should be able to get some splash damage. There we go. And should be able to reload here and defend the beacon.
Double kill.
Okay, so now we've got 4 beacons on them. Got an Alguan. He death marked me, so I am going to counter heal that and use my shield. There we go. I was able to counter heal effectively. Here we go. Definitely hitting him some through his stealth. There we go. And they are going to have to make a push, and it looks like they are pushing for the center beacon. I think my teammate has that under control though, so I'm not too worried about it. That Ares would have actually been better off not shooting at me just yet. He should have went and got the beacon, but he let me know that he was there, so I will definitely turn around and take him out instead. Go, and he should go down. Okay, let me see if I can get this bulwark taken out here with some splash damage. There we go.
Double kill.
And We got here.
Triple kill.
And I should be taking this guy out as well. There we go. Go ahead and get this guy. And I'm not going to heal anymore because I think these guys are already out of time. Alright guys, so that's it for the tank comparison video. Just like I said, these are three very different style tanks. The Falcon is a very pure tank, very low damage, but he can take the most punishment out of all of them. Then you've got the Invader. He's a little more mobile, and he can give some suppressions for some team support, which is very good. And then you've got the Fenrir, who he's a little bit slower, he's less mobile than the Invader, but the trade-off there is he can do a little more damage. That's it guys, so you know, I hope this video was helpful to you if you choose in the future to play one of these tanks. These are my favorite builds, and I think the three best tanks of 2019 in War Robots. So if you haven't yet, please hit that subscription button and turn on the bell for notifications so you don't miss when I put out my next video or live stream. And until next time guys, Chief out.